is now?
It's 6:30, we'll open the meeting.
Recording in progress.
Do we have any need to have an executive session this evening
Yes.
in regards to?
It would be management discussions regarding me.
Uh-huh. Anything else? Anybody else have anything? If not, we take a motion to go into executive session after the meeting.
Move we go into session after the meeting.
Second it?
Second.
Joe, second. All those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Possible need to amend the agenda tonight. We are gonna amend it back to a revised agenda that you received tonight. So you guys see that, if there's any problem, I don't think there is. We just shortened it up a little bit tonight. So
Yeah, the items that were
that are
used have been moved
Yeah,
to the
they've been
next
moved to the
meeting at
next
the end of the
meeting.
month, so.
So, just need a motion to accept the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second it.
Aye.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Act on the select board minutes of June 15th. Any admissions, corrections? I saw none.
Here you go, folks. These are your
Accept it.
minutes.
No, we just sign it.
There's
If
no need to-
there's no objection, just sign it.
No objections.
What's the number on the payroll?
24022204?
On the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
24022.04. And I kind of wanted to, at some point, talk to you about that, the whole number thing with payroll. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Confusion on my part, but I just figured I'd talk to you about it. Okay.
Any questions on the orders? I don't, either I missed a copy of the orders.
Oh, I didn't
I didn't have
see
any.
him in here, so.
There wasn't any in my packet, I don't believe.
Question it.
No?
On the orders, yeah, usually we get a copy of it.
Oh. I thought you had a copy, I'm sorry.
I don't believe there
I
was one.
didn't
No,
have it
that
mine.
might have, well, I'll tell you what.
Slip through the,
I did mention that because of all the year end,
Uh-huh.
there was a lot
A lot of-
of stuff going on. So that could have been a delay when I had to get the packets out. Right here they are, and you'll notice that there's one here for the fiscal year '22, and then we have two smaller ones for '23. So it's kind of a,
yeah,
Mixed
that's
bag.
normal. But we
Yeah.
do have-
That's how it'll be for the first.
Yeah, that's gonna be the first-
everything got
yeah.
kind of delayed
First two,
because
three
we had
meetings. We'll have that, so that's not a problem.
this is the payroll. Because we also, the assessment process, that really threw a wrench in the department.
Yeah, I saw there's a lot
Yeah,
of.
it got everyone behind. So I apologize.
It's up to the guys sitting here, if you want to take and look at the orders afterwards and sign them after the meeting, you can do that too.
Yeah, I can pass them down, you can,
Or just look at them as we're signing, if there's any questions.
That one you have marked as payroll.
That's
Yeah.
just payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's payroll.
And then here's the AP.
Oh, I got one even marked too. Joe needs that mark, that's his.
These are the orders.
Correct. Yep. The top
Top
two
two?
are this year, for
Okay.
'23, the new budget year. This one is tail end from '22.
Do I have to sign that back one?
Huh?
Do I have to sign that other one too?
Oh,
Those
yeah,
two.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get the back one. Brenda, that's the audit on
Yeah, that was the final billing for
the
the,
billing for the personal property.
yep.
And this was for just June? For assessor?
Yep, that's just for,
For the month of June?
yeah. The other one is for the vendor that you folks hired.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that excessively high for a month?
Considering the reappraisal process and the hours put in, probably not. It's,
Seems pretty
because,
high.
it's because of the process that you guys went through with the revaluation.
Yeah.
It was more time. She was here a lot.
Finalizing that up in June, is that what she was doing? Is that-
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and getting the grand list prepared and everything ready, yeah, for Helen. So usually the payroll for, when you have a normal year end wouldn't be that high for her time, but she was here a lot because of
Between
that.
grievance hearings.
Yeah.
and the
Grievances
grand
and-
list, yes.
Yep,
Yeah. Town manager's summary.
yes, so it's been a busy few weeks. I gave you folks a report, kind of a rough summary. There's other things I worked on too, but I didn't put every little picky little thing down. The police department server, just as an update, it's on back order. I mean, like everything else that's going on, we still don't have the parts, so it's not put together yet, but it is coming. I've also been taking some time out and meeting with different folks regarding cybersecurity, kind of upgrading our computer systems here, making sure that we're ahead of the curve on any impropriety, hacking, that kind of thing. It's rampant now. It's like
Everywhere.
full force. Any opportunity people can get to, navigate into your system. The main purpose of what they do now is they get into your server, they sit there, they're not there to really steal your information because they really don't care. They just want to lock you out of it so that you have to pay to get it back. That's the name of the game now. So I've been still shopping around. I gave you guys a rough idea of what I'm hearing for numbers. Oddly enough, the lower number that I have on my sheet here is actually, I found to be more suitable for your purposes here. I think it was just enough extra services to give us what we need, but not crazy, because we're not a city. We don't need a lot of the stuff they try to sell. And I'm just kind of looking for the best, most suitable company that can be kind of watching out for us and keeping us ahead of the curve. We need someone to be telling us, hey, guys, this is coming down the pike, or you may want to do this. Whereas, we don't want to have it so that we don't have anyone proactively watching out ahead of us. Because, I know a little bit, but I'm not an IT manager. So anyway, that's what I'm finding so far, but I haven't really settled on anyone yet that I want to bring forward to you, or even a couple. I don't want to waste your time unless we get to that point, I'd rather keep interviewing and getting information first right now. Plus, I'm coming into this, you folks already approved your budget for this next fiscal year, so I really don't have a say in that. So I'm kind of trying to work within the confines of what you've already approved. So that doesn't really give me a lot of leeway with any new things. The assistant part-time assessor clerk position was filled. Initially, we anticipated her starting at the end of this month, but it looks like there'll be a delay. She's not going to come start until the first week of August at this point. Good news, West Creek Road culvert. So we had two bids, very different in pricing. But I was happy to have, we had 3 people show up, 3 different companies show up, out on site ahead of the bid process, asked questions. The engineer came, he answered questions, we reviewed the site plan. And along with that, I'm gonna add in, there are some tree removal issues that need to be taken care of. And I kind of wanted to run it by you folks because I didn't want to get involved with another bid process for tree removal because of the timeline and the availability of people to actually remove the trees. Everyone is like straight out, and I know this just even from my own personal having tree removed. I'm like way out on the schedule. So I wanted to know if it was okay that I go with someone you've already used, and I will go back through the ranks to see what that really is or who that is, and go with the best pricing.
This is something that's way above the ability of the town to do on their own. It's got to be done by,
Well,
Yeah, I mean, there is one
there's one you said he could do.
we could drop.
One of them is massive, though.
Well, and that's,
So there's
there's like
crane or something
two
about it?
together. Yeah, I mean, it just, time-wise.
you got power lines in the
Yeah,
road,
there's
The other
power
ones, there's
lines
power
involved.
that
lines.
can be problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you need a
so I mean,
crane to do that work.
I think we'd be better off just getting a company in there to
Right.
get them on the ground, and,
Right.
you know, we could pick the wood up after the fact, but
Right.
save a little bit there. But
Yeah, because that big one is a double. It's like a double tree.
Yeah, well,
It's massive. It's probably 200 years old. But anyway, it is right next to the power line too, and I don't want to get anyone in danger.
the house.
In a house.
In a house, yeah, that would not be, that would not be.
In a house.
No.
So that was.
Money well spent, probably.
That was
Yeah,
what I
I
wanted
think
to talk
so.
to everybody about. I mean, I'm always conscientious about price points with everything, so that goes without saying. With me, the biggest thing was if I do have to go out to bid, then I'm going through that whole process, and I'd rather just be able to pick up the phone, get quotes, find out who can come, and it's gonna be somebody obviously probably local that everyone's already worked with before, so.
And that'd be something you'd run by,
Uncle Chad probably knows
something
something.
to chat about.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
him and I have been working,
Okay.
yeah, he came to, he's been a part of every bit of this. Yep. So Chad also sprayed West Creek with the chloride because we had some concern from concerned citizens about the dust level. He did spray. We took a ride. I got another tour of different things in town, and I found the road to be pretty tame after he sprayed it. But consequently, within a few days, I did receive a phone call with another complaint about the dust level again. So it's, you know, I did, while I was sympathetic to, the complaint, I also stated that, it's an ongoing issue, and it's something that we just have to, that I would let Chad know, and he could take another trip out, and we could periodically keep doing this, but there's no fix until the road is paved. And then I did also say, I tried to be very polite about it, but I also stated that once we pave it, I said, you're probably gonna be calling me with another issue, which is speeding.
Yeah.
I'm
Because it's just gonna, make people be able to
Oh,
go
yeah.
even faster, so.
That's a straight stretch there.
But I did, acknowledge the concern, and I've talked to Chad about the spraying, which consequently leads into another item that's in your packet, which is I felt it important, because we're talking about the sodium chloride, that you see that the price point, what's in there, how much it costs for how much. And, it's not cheap. It's a kind of pricey item, but obviously you need it.
Well, usually you have dust control for a lot of your dirt roads in this time of year anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, once we grade it, then we'll spray them, and they,
Depends
majority
on
of them hold up pretty
The
well.
weather has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
Nothing
Yeah.
you can do about it.
No, unfortunately, no.
It seems like right after the rain, it just breaks it down, and then you're kind of right back to square one
That's where you
again.
were, yeah.
I also logged in some citizen concerns on Elm Street with parking. So if a vendor comes to a house and needs to park to do lawns and then leave, they can actually get a ticket. The way that
The way that-
the way that you have it set up now. I guess at one point, there was an issue, a big issue, because it was a problem. Right now, if someone parks a trailer to cut a lawn, let's say, we can still get emergency vehicles through on the other side. So it's not that it would, in fact, block the roadway. It just makes it very inconvenient while the person's there doing their work. So I didn't know if it's something that the board wanted to maybe add to have a discussion about in the future, of maybe ratifying that.
Of course, if the police
particular-
department doesn't issue tickets, it kinda solves the problem anyways. And-
Right, but it's on the
kinda-
books as being a
Yeah, I know.
ticketable offense.
I know, but there again,
Yeah. So I didn't know if you just wanted to revisit it, or I'm bringing it to your attention, and
yeah,
it's just something that
there's probably, we should look at a lot of the ordinances at some point.
yeah, that's kind of on the next agenda.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
you
'cause
got,
stuff does get outdated after.
yeah, we really do need to address, that's actually, I think, in my report here.
Oh, okay.
We need to address ordinances and some of the different items that we have, because it's actually costing us money at times when the police will get certain amounts of violations if they go to court. This just happened, by the way. They went to court, there was between $5,000 and $8,000 fine, and it was actually declined because of our ordinances.
Well, so we should look at it.
We don't have everything exactly written the way it should be, so that we're backing up the rules we're trying to enforce. It was weight related, weight limit related. So we just need to revisit them and then go through that process.
Yep.
And it's like the right time of year to do it, because then you folks can have it either on your next town meeting, like when you do your budget and that whole thing, and kind of get it cleaned up. Gives me time, too, to kind of dive into it.
Sound good?
So the assessment grievances hearings were held. They were recorded audio only. They are on file here. A copy of that file is available through the town clerk's office. She's going to maintain one in the vault for posterity, whatever that
Whatever,
word. But if somebody needs a copy, it's $8 for a citizen to come in and get it, because I have to put it on a jump drive.
Yep.
So we have to cover the cost of that.
I already heard about that.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That,
$8, yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah, I understand, Jim.
yeah.
Right.
Route 7 signage, similar to the type that everyone seemed to like, that's in Brandon.
Yeah, on the speed thing?
Speed
Yeah, those
Yes,
permanent
yeah.
ones.
Right,
And they
so-
are nice.
Yeah.
So I looked into that, and it looks like if I follow the process, we may be able to
Do it.
get those.
Yeah, I read that in the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we
I'm
ought to
excited, because
pursue it.
everyone jumped in. I was really pleased, because I got a lot of feedback from the state, a couple of different departments that are willing to help me through the process.
I've noticed that one in Brandon several times. People do slow down when
It
they
is a
see
good
that thing
one.
flashing.
So I was thinking 2, but let me get pricing and find out more. I just started the process.
Definitely the one on top of the hill by the mobile,
Yeah,
because
that's-
that's the big
that's an
problem
issue.
coming down that hill, even in the wintertime. The roads are icy and bad. This end of town, not so much, but boy,
Right.
that end of town, it would make a huge difference, I think.
So I
Maybe
did-
start with one and see how it works out, I don't know.
The state pretty much has all the control of
They
that.
control it, but they
They
say,
can-
we can do it, but we're gonna be on the hook for the, paying for it.
State will.
Well,
If they would allow us to put it.
They will.
But I am
Yeah.
gonna look into some
And there,
grant money.
there may be, yeah.
There may
I'll say
be some
might
funding out there to
some
help.
money there to help do it, I don't know.
And I also put in your packet the data about it, the rules.
I saw that, yeah.
So what the rules in summary, those new units have a lot of capability for many different forms of signs. But I was told that by law, we cannot, in the state of Vermont, enact or get those activated. We
Right.
can only stay within the confines of what we're allowed to do,
Unless they change it, yeah.
unless they change.
Some of those, they can take a picture of your number plate and the whole bit and send you a
And
ticket.
ticket you.
But not in
Yeah.
Vermont. Some states do that.
But it also
I said
has,
not
here.
Vermont.
Yeah.
No.
they also have the ability to connect to a modular, like a program that you can put whole messages on
Oh, yeah.
that will come across.
Yeah, there's all
But
kinds
some of that
stuff
we
they
just.
can do.
People will be reading the message and
Yeah,
drive off the road. Yeah, we don't need that
No,
either.
no,
Into the
That's
ditch.
what, it slows them
I
down.
was reading the board.
And it says thank you in green when you hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we need.
Chester's got a couple of different.
Yeah, something simple.
So the signage, it was something that I had asked about. If you have a private road and the sign goes down, initially it was my impression that the owners of the street pay for the sign and we'll put it up. But I've since found out that that's not true. You folks have had this discussion before, so I
Yeah.
do have a sign that went down, and I will be ordering it, and I'll have Chad
That's not,
install it.
we're responsible for private roads as well.
Yes, we are. And the board
Has to do with security.
said that several years ago. We had that. In fact, my road was one of them. And there was another one, they were stealing them. The liability is such that you need to have these roads marked. If the
Right.
fire, police, rescue, you don't have a sign up there and they miss it.
You're right. No, it's
For 40
understandable, I
bucks.
just,
And the logic was that those people pay a lot of taxes on those private roads and don't get any road service.
right,
So for
Okay.
a sign, I think that's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
okay,
So-
no, I just, I
That, it's
hadn't-
our, precedent's
never
already been
heard that.
done.
Yeah,
I
so-
informed
yeah,
Brenda that this afternoon, so it's not an issue, I
yep,
don't
and I'm
think.
glad you
Okay.
you told me that. I was going
Yeah,
down the
these are
wrong.
things that you don't know.
Right. And
Apparently,
the-
I don't either.
So apparently that's what we do now.
Well, in
I
the-
do, yeah.
in the town that I worked for previously, the town wouldn't do that. The
Yeah.
town would not pay for those signs, so I was just going by my past.
Okay.
I was appointed on a committee with VLCT for their finance committee, because of my background in finance, to oversee some of their policies and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna be working with them,
Good,
in my free time.
yeah. When's that?
I'm still trying to find some. Transfer station, I took a spin out there. Was almost hit by a car by a citizen. Speeding is a problem for people coming in. But after being there, I thought it was a good idea to maybe reach out and try to find some remedial training for even the workers there, because there's a lot of new information out there for people working in transfer stations. So I kind of enlisted them to take it. It's online, so they don't have to travel anywhere but to the computer. Chad's gonna set it up on his computer at the garage,
Yeah.
and they'll go and take that. It's probably an hour. But I just thought it was good to have a refresher.
Yep.
We already talked about the ordinances, CDBG grant funding. There was a grant that was put out there before my time, and the state actually did award it. It's something that the town had signed on for, as a backup. That was awarded, I found out today, officially. So I'm gonna begin the process of, I have to actually get my credentials all set up because the prior town manager did all this, so I'm not in their system. So I'll start work on that, and begin that process. It also will involve us opening up a new bank account. It has to be completely separate. So Helen, I've already spoken with her. She knows she's gonna be setting up a new bank account for this particular process. It's one of the guidelines you need to have, to work with this type of funding. It's very different. It's not like a normal grant. It's very tightly monitored. So there's a lot of audit
This
involved.
is for, when you say the CBG grant, what's it?
Community Development Block Grant.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I thought.
And it's all going to the village farm?
yes,
And we have to set up an account and
Yeah.
oversee it?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it was more involved than what we thought.
Yeah,
yeah, it's, yeah,
I'm
we're gonna
not,
charge a fee for us having to set all this
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
up
not
and do all
sure.
this work?
I'm not sure if we'd known what was involved, we would have probably approved that.
yeah.
That's not what we wanna do.
No.
Yeah. Normal, I'll go one step out here and I'll say this. I've worked with these before. Normally what the process is that it's something that I would come to you and say, you know what? There's this great opportunity on a state level to get this type of funding, and what we can do is offer it to several businesses or however you want to do it in the community so that many benefit from the use of
That grant.
going through this process because it's so much work. So usually, like, the town of Putnam, where I was the finance director, they utilized this funding to refurbish a lot of the businesses that were kind of getting a little sad within the
Like a
town.
facelift in the town.
They needed a
Yeah.
facelift, they needed a few things, and it allowed them to borrow the money from the town very inexpensively and pay it back very casually with no harm to their bottom line. And it worked out really well. The city, that whole main strip really perked right up in it. They ended up putting in like a public restroom facility. It was very modern. It really did a lot of good. And when you use it the right way, I think it is a good thing. I don't say that, it's definitely a good program. And that's just, I'm just putting that out there.
This, it seems to me we're gonna be putting a lot of man-hours into it
It,
For one.
for one,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
I don't think that was explained quite properly to the board, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
But at this point, it's kind of on the tracks to roll, so, it's totally up to you. I have not signed any documents officially with them yet.
What's the value of that?
$60,000.
60.
It's just, it's a time-consuming thing.
How much time do you think this is gonna take?
It's tough to say because, so the money, the way it works is, they submit their invoicing. They actually went and hired another agency to manage the grant, because my guess is that maybe it was a little more than maybe what they even expected, the maintenance of it. That individual will submit those billings to the state for reimbursement. The state will reimburse us to our bank account. Then we have to, then in turn, reimburse them.
So they've hired outside management to run their side, and we have to do
And we have
this
to
side
put on this
for
side.
our cost.
Right.
That doesn't seem right.
Our end of it is transferring money from, that account back to them and cutting a check back to them. However, in my past experience with these types of fundings, which I have, the problem lies with credentialing your vendors. Your vendors have to be credentialed, licensed, vetted vendors. And you have to do everything exactly the way they tell you to do it when you hire someone to do work. It can't be, I'll just be hypothetical, it can't be John Smith's, staining service. That just, he works out of his basement, he's not really a
So who's
registered
on the
vendor.
hook if something's done wrong and not submitted right?
If they paid the vendor already, which they would have had to, because they
Yeah,
have
but
to
then
submit
it
their
comes to us.
receipts, they won't get the refund. They won't get reimbursed for that money. If it's not done the way they
They're the
asked.
ones, we would,
We would not be out,
Right, okay.
but they would be out.
they would be out.
We would have to determine whether that vendor meets the criteria. Is
Yeah,
that
who
our
determines?
responsibility?
It's not our responsibility. However,
We'll
with
do
these
the
types
audit.
of grants,
You're going
when
to
you
an
have
audit,
your
yeah.
annual audit,
Oh, boy.
when you have your annual audit, even though we are just a pass-through, they will be looking at all the records all the way through, from the beginning to the end. So it will involve us being involved in another type of audit.
You guys blew that.
Okay, well, it wasn't explained anywhere near like that.
yeah. Wow.
So if we haven't signed anything, maybe, I don't know.
I had to sign.
You had to sign?
John brought it out, said it had been approved by the board.
It was approved, no question.
But I didn't sign
I
it
think the
like,
vote
We have
would
to
have
deal
been
with
a
it.
little bit
Yeah.
different.
We have
if
to
we
deal with
it.
Had the whole story, I think my vote would've been a little different, but I
Watch
don't know.
that again.
like I said, I think
Water
it is a
over the dam
good
at this
program.
point.
It is a good
No
program.
doubt, but.
No doubt
Oh, yeah.
about it.
We don't.
Okay.
But it was kind of done a different way.
Yeah.
The normal route path that you follow, I don't see as
Didn't
being
happen.
followed, yeah.
Okay.
So that's,
Live and learn.
so that's going on.
Yep.
G&K Associates for the reappraisal process has completed all of her billings. They're included in what you see in your packets. Those included her time with those grievances, the hearings and stuff. So that's completed. The Otter Creek Watershed Insect Control District, the chair is back. For a while, they were running with a temporary,
Yeah, I
and now
saw
he's
that.
back in action. So he's back on the team. Lighting for the Dollar General, that was a topic of discussion. I ended up having another discussion with the district manager, happened to be in the store one day, and we were talking. And there seems to be some confusion as to what it means to change the lights, which led more questions to me. So I went to Jeff, and he actually pulled out their original agreement with the actual lights, how they work. My initial thought was maybe they need a hood, but that's not the case. These new type of lights have preset ranges of motion to whether they'll shine out right in your eye or they'll shine down to the ground. Long story short, they need an adjustment. Someone has to come there and
So that can be done.
and change the code. There's like 4 different code settings, and they need to do that. So I don't even know if the district manager is aware. I need to get back out and see her again and bring these documents with me to show her, because I don't think she understands. I think she's been more involved with the actual store and not mechanical aspect of anything. But they genuinely want to appease us. I don't get any pushback feeling. I just think that they're at a place where they need to have their contractor come out, and he hasn't come out yet. Finally, the fire station bioretention pool. Someone came to work on it Friday.
Did they do it?
Looks good, yeah, or it looks better
Yeah.
right now, yeah.
Saw them all there.
Water flushing, Otter Creek did the last one for the testing. Heating and cooling solutions, I'm still working on that one. I need to get more quotes. And then the last one, I kind of went out of order here. We had a water leak, and it's like an ongoing thing. I think it will be until everyone's replaced their water connections to our water line. If they have the old
The old hook.
clay, right? Some of the connection, anyway.
Clay pipe or?
Yeah, clay
Yeah.
pipe or metal for the actual water. So it's
Yeah.
sewer and water is what I'm talking about. It seems to be an ongoing issue. So what I've kind of explained to water and sewer supervisor and to Chad, the highway supervisor, when they come up on different incidents, I think it's good protocol to take pictures, as many as possible.
Yep.
Because that tells the story. So this one incident, we have a citizen who ran up an $11,000 bill,
Wow.
and she probably will be submitting for some sort of a waiver.
You know what?
And that'll be up to everyone to decide what that is or not. Will be. But at the end of the day, a picture was taken of the actual leak as it's occurring, and it's not a town leak. It's a leak on their side of
Yeah,
their
wow.
supply line. So those kind of circumstances, the picture tells everything.
Yep.
You don't need to tell a story if you see it. So that's kind of I'm trying to talk as fast as I could.
That's good.
A lot of other things went on too in between, but that's like the meat and potatoes.
Right, good. Thank you. Do we have any board members' remarks tonight? I don't have anything.
I noticed they've been striping the roads, and that looks good.
Yep. Our side roads have been done. I guess,
Yep.
class, which
Third.
class? You didn't do them all, right?
No, just whatever we had in the budget.
Right.
Slightly over, but yeah, they
But
came
it
in
makes a big difference.
last week.
Yep.
Did Plains,
Yep.
Hitchcock, Adams,
Yep.
Stevens, Depot and Elm.
I think last year, we run into difficulty, wasn't anybody available at
They
They
didn't have
were,
the paint.
right, they were supposed to in the fall,
We
but
kinda let it go by last year, but
Didn't have the paint?
this year is nice. And
Right.
that might turn out to be something, wouldn't have to be done every year,
it
or,
won't be done this year because you guys didn't put it in the budget. So
Right.
knowing they were coming late, so it should work out pretty good that
Should be,
way.
all
and-
right.
looks good right now anyway.
Yeah, they did a nice job, so.
Good. Any public comment tonight? Mr. Shaw?
Just a couple things. First of all, the Amtrak service to Burlington starts on the 29th of July.
July, yeah, it's coming up.
Your first train coming Burlington south. They're going to sneak up at night park in
Are they gonna
Burlington.
sneak up that night?
Some big doodads and then come down. I don't know what the speeds are gonna be through here, but you can make a safe assumption they'll be in excess of 50 miles an hour, and probably faster than that. So
They sing right along.
they'll be moving quickly. All of our crossings, except the farm crossings, are gated now.
They are.
So, people need to be aware of that. It's twice a day. And I think they'll leave Burlington around 8:30.
So they'd be down here.
They'll be down here by 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll have more information on the exact
When are
schedule.
they leaving Burlington?
That Friday, they're leaving Burlington, I believe, at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then they'll stop in Rutland. It's a little different train. It has a engine on each
On
end.
both ends, yeah.
An engine on both ends, so they don't have to, when they come into Rutland now, they go down in the yard, turn around, and then come back out, but they stay in Rutland, so there's no time frame. But I think the time schedule is about 5 minutes per stop to unload and unload the train. So they don't have time to go down through what they call the Y and come back, so they put another, not really an engine, but it's another set of, an engine, looks like an engine, but it's got the controls in it. So the engineers just walk from one end of the train to the other, and they don't have to turn around. Amtrak can't push a passenger train. So they have to have,
Be up front.
they have to be up front, the engineers have to be up front. So that's coming down through the 29th. We'll,
Twice a day, it says?
twice a day, one up, one down. Yeah.
Are they gonna stop at every town like
No,
Brent?
no, there's, coming out of Burlington, there's a stop in Virgins, in Middlebury. Next stop is Rutland,
Then Castleton.
in Castleton, and then
And then
way
next
into New York.
New York.
Is this gonna interrupt the freight?
No. No. Amtrak has a right of way over all freight, but it won't bother the freight.
No,
Yeah.
Their time schedule or such.
Yeah.
Won't impede them at all. The
Because
only one that might affect would be only if they had a train. but they-
trains,
they timed
they
it, so-
won't affect them because
affect
Amtrak runs on a set schedule and freight runs anytime. So it's worth it for the railroad and for the state to adjust the freight schedules just a little bit to work that out. They won't be in Vermont long
No,
when they come down through.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
no.
CDBG grants. Don't let Brenda's cautionary tale affect your thoughts on those grants. Those are good grants. Typically, they're administered and received by the town and not by a private industry. I think that's what the problem is here, is the private industry applied for a CDBG grant and got it
Yeah.
without consulting with you.
I think it was more of a process thing that was not understood by
Right,
all.
right.
And
So-
because I did say it is a good grant.
It's a
It-
great
it
grant
really
program.
is.
Brandon got a great CDBG grant for the folks out on Newton Road that got flooded several
Right,
times.
yeah.
And they got a huge grant out there to actually, they got a big enough grant so the people that moved did not have to put any of their money in the move. Because when FEMA does a buyout, it's a 75-25 buyout. The town,
Grant
in
covered.
combination with the homeowner, have to put up 25%. But this grant program came up with enough funding so the homeowners were not on the hook for any money.
Is that all state tax dollars, or is that come from somewhere else?
No, it's a mixture of dollars, or state tax dollars, most of it's FEMA funding.
Yeah.
It's funded through FEMA. For that up there
For
was.
up there is, yeah.
Was FEMA funded, but it was administered by the CDBG grant people in the Agency of Commerce and Community Development.
Most of it's federal.
Yeah. most
What
of
about
it.
this one?
This one here, it's probably federal funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically they are. It's a good grant program. This is kind of a,
I like to use the word wonky.
yeah, one, okay, I was thinking of one, a different, I couldn't use it. So, but this is different. Don't let it sour you on those grants. They're really great grants. And they're typically used for a mass of people and not just one project, so. Good news for Tad and for the board, the transportation budget has been signed. Funding for all the town funding sources, structures, grants, Class 2 grants, town highway grants, and all those type of grants were fully funded. And actually, the funding on those went up last year. And it was suggested that we pull the grant funding back a little bit so we could spend that money elsewhere, and we didn't. Legislature, in their infinite wisdom, funded those at the full amount that we had funded the previous year, which was an increase of about $7 or $8 million per grant program. And that's a statewide program, of course. So that's in there. But, and I hear you talking about ordinances and sign ordinances and things like that. Within the transportation budget, there's a whole section on covered bridges, protection of covered bridges, which now makes it, a civil fine of up to $3,500 if you damage a covered bridge. The current fine for damaging a covered bridge is $200. So that's been upped, and mostly dealing with weight and height restrictions. But within the language, and I will get it to Brenda, the language, you have to sign, the state will guide you on how to sign the approaches to the covered bridges. And there's no sign there that says you must turn around, stupid. Which we'd like to put up, but you can't. But yeah, well, there's legal signing to have, so we'll do it that way. There's legal, MUTCD signing that has to go up to warn people of the height and weight restrictions. The state will come down and they'll check your weight restrictions on your bridges to make sure that they're adequate. The bridges are adequate for the weight.
Right.
And they'll do that as part of this new program. So I think that's a plus. So if somebody does damage a bridge, not only, and you have the right, within that language, you have the right to require, to recover all expenses, and plus a fine of $3,500. And we also, in the same part of the bill, we included smuggler's notch. Figuring that the fine's gonna go way up on that.
Well, now that's a big surprise.
Since the bill's been signed.
I know it, again.
Since the bill's been signed, there's been 2 trucks stuck on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they just, it's an issue with GPS, but anyway, that's all I got. That's kind of where we're sitting. And-
Well, that's good timing.
and yeah,
Yeah.
Did you see that? That's from the transfer station.
that's what?
From the transfer station.
Oh.
Yep.
No, yeah. New
So-
technology.
Ooh, cool. Good. Yeah, that's great. Unless you got any questions, that's what I've got. I think the important piece for you is the covered bridge piece.
No other public comment? We'll move on. I don't see any more public here. Okay, move on to old business, right-of-way bond release. What do we got there?
That,
Is that one for $1,000?
yes. I think you have it.
Somewhere.
It was in its own,
Right here. What do we have to do? We just have to,
it has to be signed.
Robert Brown, is that the one?
Yes.
What do we do? Just make a motion to,
Trying to find my copy.
what do we do? Refund the
Yeah,
bond money?
Yep, because once the work's
Because once
completed.
it's
Yep.
completed, right, to your satisfaction?
It's been a year, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's
Yeah.
held up, so.
So, but he still, doesn't he have to pay the $100? Is that,
No, he had to
He had
before
to,
he
but
did it.
gets
And
it
then we
all back?
hold it. He gets it back,
All
once
back.
he's
The
completed
1,100.
and the work's to your
so
satisfaction.
we need a motion to,
A motion to
to
return his.
return
his-
$1,100 to Robert Brown.
Right.
So moved. Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. New truck for highway approval of quote. That's you, I think.
Yeah, well, we discussed it, kinda sound like everybody's in agreement.
Yep.
Decided to sell it outright ourselves.
Yep.
And then on my way home, I was like, never was like officially said, yeah, let's order the new truck.
I thought we did, we didn't?
No.
I think it was kind of a more of a,
Just
you know,
a
yeah,
consensus.
sounds
No, it
good,
kind
that's a
of,
good
it
price.
kind of was like, just
Consensus?
kind of left, like, at the end of the conversation.
And I didn't even, like I said,
Okay.
I didn't even think of it till I was like heading home, I'm like.
So what the gentleman, he was nice enough to do is he sent us that agreement
Okay.
and I signed it. The deal was, because he actually added in typed letters, if the board
the
doesn't
board-
approve it, we're not on the hook for it.
Oh, okay.
So you still have the say in whether or not you wanna go ahead with it. He's holding it for us, because there's only the one.
So,
Motion to approve.
approve the truck. Second it? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There, got that done.
Thank you.
Thanks for
The
all
only
the
thing
work
that
you
was
did on
discussed
that.
at the last meeting was.
Was just
trade-in.
the trade-in,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yep.
So we messed up on that.
And even the one before,
Yeah,
was
yeah, okay. the
kind
one
of holding
before.
off on the trade, yeah. So it's-
That's right, I remember that
I had a
now.
good feeling about it, it just
Yeah,
wasn't anything
okay.
official.
The fuel bid contracts were signed,
Yes, correct.
and that, the others were
I
notified.
gave you copies of all,
Yep.
any of the contracts that were signed. Chittenden Police Services contract was signed and approved by their
Nice.
board as well.
Yep, so you've signed it, that's taken
did.
care of. Contract for the emergency response, none of it, that's been.
Yep, that was signed as
was
well,
signed.
after you folks agreed. I had him come in, he signed it, and he's gonna pre-buy the materials so that he's ready to go.
And let's see, I guess now we're down to West Creek Culvert.
Yes.
So we had a bid on that. I see it's
Good.
in our packet. We had two
Good.
bidders,
Two bidders.
and I
Three,
think
three showed up for the pre-bid that
only two bid.
Monday.
And I believe, where the heck is my? I think Reed is the lowest bid, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Where the heck is it? You got a copy of it right there?
But he
Brenda?
excluded something from his bid, right? There was some,
Yeah, he had, let me get it out here.
Oh, come on.
It's not that one. I'm gonna start putting tabs on you.
Too much paperwork.
Yeah. This is all tax
That's
stuff.
the truck. Didn't want that.
Where is that?
There we go. I got mine.
Okay, here it is.
Richard Reed was $398,648. And Markowski Excavation was $643, $86.55.
643,000. Can you repeat the number?
$643,086.55. Ledge removal is gonna be additional cost on Richard Reed.
Which there really isn't
There's
much.
not
I mean,
much.
it's pretty,
yeah, do we
that
have-
ledge is pretty backed up away from that area. It shouldn't be a lot. I would not imagine. I mean, even the engineer,
Markowski's-
when he was there,
Did Markowski say?
went over that ledge.
Markowski includes that ledge, correct?
Yes, that's a flat rate for everything.
All right.
Lump sum.
It's,
So the only thing with the Reed estimate is we'd have that expense besides that.
other than the, just the ledge removal.
Just
Is
that.
that correct?
Yep.
What's your thought on that? Not a lot of ledge there, is there?
We did, well, last year, I guess it was, went out with the engineer and did a test hole on both sides. And we, right on the ledge side, went down as far as I could reach with the backhoe, which is fairly good depth, 15, 16 feet, and never hit,
Didn't hit it.
and hit ledge, so
No.
they're pretty confident. The engineer was
The engineer
confident
was there
that
too. He's made that
the ledge that's
comment.
there just goes down, and we'll,
So we shouldn't be running into anything then.
I don't think so.
not gonna say you won't, but
Let's try to-
good
It
chance
shouldn't be an
that-
awful lot, of course, apparently
Yeah.
then. That was a sealed bid, I assume.
They were sealed bids, and, yeah. That's all I got on that one. They were sealed.
Good.
I was expecting 3, but got 2.
Pretty, yeah.
It's pretty obvious here, I
Yeah,
think.
I don't think we've got any, gotta get it done.
Yes, please.
We gotta get it done.
Yeah, we have the 2 grants that we were given
Right,
extension
exactly. So we
to
need to-
for this, and I've been really trying hard to make sure that this happened for you guys.
So motion to accept the lower bid.
Second it. Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
That uses that culvert that we have that we've been kinda
Yes.
sitting on, I guess.
Yeah, we,
Yes.
Paying
We've
for
paid rent.
storage and-
We've been
For it.
paying storage on it for what, a year, 2 years?
yeah, a while, a year and a
Yeah,
half, it's
1
like,
year, yeah.
it's like a year and a half.
At least a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
What's the time frame on this job? Is that this year, this summer? or-
Oh,
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
It has to be in before October 1st, has to be all finished.
Probably, right now is a good time. if-
Yeah.
Hopefully he moves in tomorrow and starts.
Yeah, hopefully.
It has to be in by X.
If
Yeah.
they're available.
Yep,
Okay.
there's a deadline on that. That's through
Yep.
all the permitting, the state.
Earlier the better, so we can get our paving
Hopefully,
done
yeah.
as well.
Oh, yeah, 'cause that, everything, ties everything up on that. Speed study process has been requested. Where is that requested for?
Yeah, so I got a hold of an individual at the state. I cannot remember the name of the person that I emailed. It was through email. So I'm going to look into having another study, or at least having them review the study that was already done. I'm getting a little bit of, you just had it done not that long ago type of feedback about it.
Speed study, normally they pick a road to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I picked Route 7 and 3.
Okay.
That was my request. But I don't know how fast
Just
of a
did a-
timeline we're gonna
They
have.
just did one on 3, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Correct?
They
Did
did.
one on 3.
And there's all different speeds,
Yeah, 'cause it's 40, it's
3.
50, it's,
40, 50, 35.
I mean,
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
like coming from out of town, I don't know why there are so many different speeds on that stretch. They should just pick one. No, really.
yeah, I know.
I feel like they should just maybe,
I'll be honest with you, 'cause people travel at one speed.
yeah.
Which those counters with the double rubber,
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
picking up numbers, they picking up speed doing that.
Picking up numbers.
Those numbers, right?
Yeah. How many cars
So we did
travel?
may I?
Yeah.
Did a speed stu- when that was reduced 2 years ago,
Yeah.
we moved 35 mile an hour. We
Moved it.
moved it south from the intersection of Route 7. It was 35 up to just past the fish
Cornhill.
farm, where Fish's place
Yep.
was. We went to the state, we collectively went to the state and asked them to move that 35 further south for a couple of reasons. Number one, safety of bus stops, and two,
That corner.
the crappy intersection there. So the traffic committee agreed to do that. And at that time, they had done a traffic study at the request of the town of Pittsburgh along Route 3. But at the same time, the town also requested to put in a 40 mile an hour speed limit from the town line, Proctor Pittsburgh town line, up to beyond Terranovich Field,
Right.
because of the activity there, official activity with the schools. Keep that, so people coming out of Proctor can come out 25 to 50, 25, 40, 50 through the center, and then back to 35.
Yep.
Theoretically, probably should have been 25, 35, then the 50,
But it
and
could
not
have
the
been,
40,
yeah.
but that, my own.
So that was done, and the traffic committee agreed to do that. I think it was just before COVID hit.
It was.
That all went into place. So that was pretty heavily looked at the time. It was, as you know, going to the traffic committee is risky at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just said no when we went. They just said no.
Well, it said, yeah, we went for you one time
Yeah.
and got a little bit, but we didn't get out everything we wanted. But yeah, so that was done back then. And why it's not one speed, it's a state highway.
Yep.
State highways are 50 miles an hour. So As much as you might like it to make it 35 all the way, it is.
It's not gonna
The
happen.
state likes to put a lot of signs up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot.
They got a lot of money to do
Yeah,
that.
right, right?
Gotta have some for the sign shop to do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah. There's plenty.
So that's
That's-
kind of the history on that Route 3 progression there too.
Do the state, I'm sorry,
Oh, no, go ahead.
do the towns get copies of these counters when they're on the road? I mean, I see they just installed them this week.
Yeah,
On seven.
yeah, probably be before they analyze the data. Rennick and,
So I can probably
manager.
get one from the District 3?
Yeah, you can get one from District 3, or you can go right to AOT.
Because they're doing a counter on.
Yeah, I
By
saw
your-
that.
By your place, they're doing
Yep.
one, yeah.
Yeah, we like it to get far along before we hit it with a lawnmower.
They're doing a lot of that work for projects that are
Yeah.
10 years out,
Yeah.
just the initial.
Yeah, they tend to fly out of the way if you hit the lawnmower.
Yeah, you
That
cut one.
chews them.
It does.
Okay, so we can get that information.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Let's see, coin drop, 60-day notice requested
Yeah,
will be in the newsletter.
yep, so you
That's a good
folks,
idea,
you
so that
folks
we-
wanted me to
Yeah.
look into that, and I thought this is an excellent opportunity.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be posted in the next newsletter.
good.
Yep.
Anybody requesting a coin drop in town must give us 60-day notice before we can approve it. That's, I think it's
I
fair.
had one here not too long.
Yeah, sometimes they come too quick, and so this way they kind of plan it
Right.
out. And
Gotta do it when it's good weather.
yeah, but they know who wants them, I think, and make sure you get your request in prior to 60 days of when you want it. I guess
Right.
that's the key there. Okay, that's it for old business. New business, we need to approve the municipal tax rate. So Helen, I think you've got some figures.
I do.
If you would tell us what the tax rate are, we'll make a motion and get it approved.
Okay, the general fund tax rate is 0.3568. The highway fund is 0.2821. The local agreement is 0.0023. That brings the total municipal rate to 0.6412. Without the village rate is 0.0318. The municipal tax rate with village is 0.6730. Let's see here. Homestead tax rate is 1.3944. Non-homestead tax rate is 1.5997.
1.5597?
1.5997.
5997.
How's that compare to last year? We're up a little, down a little, or about the same? Not much difference?
It's not a big difference, no.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
That's good.
Up or down? Was it up a little?
It's,
I think it was up just a tad.
most
wasn't
of them are down a little.
it? Those are down, so overall.
Overall
Breakdown.
it's down,
Yeah, the
yes.
breakdown's right here, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, over on the right
Yep.
hand side.
Yeah, so it's down a little bit.
And the grand list was up 65,000
Yes,
from last year?
yes.
Any other questions on those figures? If not, I propose we have a motion to approve the
I'll make.
tax rate
So
as
moved.
proposed.
Second.
Then, motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You got the figures, have you? Okay. Mower trimmer no longer operational. New one needed.
Had a little issue.
I understand our tractor blew up.
Tractor didn't,
Well,
the mower.
the mower did.
Not necessarily blew up, parts came off,
It went
windshield
flying.
shattered.
Oh, no.
We're lucky we didn't have an injury.
Yeah, the head
bad.
we were using, the blades, well, the blades and
That,
whatever, what they were attached to came off the head.
Your housing let go on it? Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's 4 bolts that held the bar on that the blades were attached to. Those let go through the blades ahead of the tractor and just kicked up some gravel,
So
shattered the
lucky.
windshield.
lucky
got
nobody was hurt.
So we went, brought that back, removed what was left of the windshield. We put the flail, when we purchased it, we got 3 heads with it. One of them, the motor's cracked. The other one's a flail that we put that on, figured we'd try that. Used it once, worked okay. Went out the other day with it, and that broke as well. Not as severe. Nothing went flying or break anything more, but
But it broke.
so remember this year we were gonna rent one. That's no longer available. Howard Fairfield decided to end their rental program, and sold all their mowers. So Salesman was kinda hoping to honor all the rentals
Yeah.
before they did that, but Big Bosses got rid of them, so. So yeah, so that kinda leaves us with no arm mower now.
Is there anybody else that rents them? When we talked about renting one, is this the unit that we were talking about renting, or
Yes.
is this the old unit that you were gonna keep and maintain anyway?
No, we were hoping to get rid of it, and rent one.
Right.
But yeah, so since the rental, fell through, we started running it.
So the rental is no longer available?
No longer, that rental's no longer available. I believe there is a company, Salisbury, we used them before we purchased ours. But that comes with an operator. And if I remember right, I don't remember what the cost was, but I mean, that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And I don't think we got very, much done. I think it was like 2 weeks worth of work, so it's kinda,
There are just a few people that provide that service, I think, aren't they?
Not many.
yeah.
Is it any possibility of going that route
We can check into it. I mean,
at this time, maybe to get us through this year or something, or maybe that's not?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I can check into.
Maybe everybody's booked way up to where
This time of year.
it's not,
Well, and that's, yeah, and then
Yeah.
especially now with,
it's not easy to jump in the middle of the race.
right. I got some pricing on some different options, a 3-point hitch one that would go on our tractor, from Champlain Valley. It's a little smaller reach, with a smaller price tag. I mean, that was about $33,000. Or we can,
The big
replace
choice.
everything.
Oh,
Right,
That was $183,000.
yeah, okay.
yeah.
New Kubota, new mower. Good news on that is, West Rutland's still interested in, or at least their foreman was, I don't know about their board or town manager.
Yeah, I haven't reached out to Mary Ann yet,
Still interested, expressed interest in going in with us.
doing half and half.
Purchasing one.
If we purchase one, we could, if we had an agreement where we shared it equally.
Maintenance included,
I-
everything, all
Is
of
that
it.
the whole unit,
Advocated.
or is that the?
Yeah, brand
That
new.
was,
unit.
yeah,
I've advocated for years that possibly something like that might be shared. The issue of a chipper came up a long time ago, but that never got anywhere. But this mower, it seems like if two towns could, 2 or 3 or whatever, it seems like
yeah.
it could be
I mean, the more,
worked
yeah.
out.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
how much
more
do we
you
use it a year? 3 weeks?
Or you could buy
Uh,
it and rent it out when others need it.
Yeah,
That's another option.
yeah.
To recover.
Pittsford's need,
Takes a long
Pittsford's
time
need
to
is gonna
recover
be a
money,
lot
though.
bigger than Proctor's, I would think. 'cause
Yeah,
we've got a lot
Proctor,
more road.
right, Proctor I don't think has I
But they
mean, maybe
might-
they would rent it for us to go over there for a day or two.
Seems like they would be
Is
away
West Rutland the one? the
West
one-
Rutland.
West
is,
Rutland,
yes.
of keeping track of the hours and stuff, so nobody would feel abused by the
Right, right.
deal.
I
Yeah,
think if you shared everything, the cost of the machine, the maintenance, everything, it's
You'd have like a written agreement
Written
of
agreement
how
where-
it's gonna
And
go
there's-
down.
share equally, whether it breaks down over there, breaks down here, we still share.
there's
the-
samples of those agreements. I mean, other towns,
Yeah.
Madison County have been doing it for a while, so they,
That makes sense.
have
I think it's great to
plans
pool
like that,
resources
but-
if you can,
Well, yeah.
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 especially for a better piece of equipment.
So what do you need to get through this year? I guess that's the
Yeah,
first thing. 'cause
what
that's
we
not
gotta
gonna
do
happen
that.
Like poof.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
understand, I understand
Yeah.
that, it's, and there's other, and those were just the quick numbers I could get for this meeting. I mean, there are other options, like Brandon runs one that goes on the front of the loader. And I remember, I think last time I looked, I mean, that's about 100,000. And the nice thing about that is it's just a unit, so you're not having a tractor that sits.
So if you had this $30,000 unit, that would go on the present tractor you have now.
The Ford that we have without a windshield.
So then at that point, well, at that point, we could sell the whole entire unit at some point, maybe. You know, that could be an option.
Yeah, I mean, that would be,
If the tractor's in good shape, I mean,
it's,
That's
the
that
cab,
Ford,
the cab's not pretty,
no, but it's,
but it works.
but it works.
It works, it runs well,
Is that all that's used for?
That's all we
that's
use it
all,
for, yeah.
That's all it's
and
used
that's
for.
all we, yeah, I mean, that was
How many
bought with
hours
the
is on
armor.
that unit?
We bought that used from up north somewhere, didn't we?
Yeah,
Came up there.
Shelburne,
Yes.
Shelburne had it,
Yeah.
and New Haven, Nursery in New
We had
Haven
it
had
there.
it, secondhand.
Yeah.
But it had a mouse infestation.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I like the, yeah, the cab
Yeah.
does not look pretty.
Well,
The liner's gone, the AC doesn't work,
oh,
hell, the windshield's gone,
no.
back window's gone.
You still have your smaller mower, the old one,
Yeah.
and that works?
Yeah, well, we replaced that with we have that little flail mower that we're getting used to, that works well. The pan mower, ditch mower, that's still usable, so I mean, that can actually go on.
So what
the
we
Ford
can't
as
do right
well.
now is just reach out that second
We just
swath.
can't, right, we just can't get farther off the road, banks and over guardrails.
I think we should have Brenda contact West Rutland.
I do too.
Or
Yeah.
wherever you think. and
Yeah.
look- And look at the
Yeah.
opportunity of
Yeah.
a,
See what, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Put something together.
yeah, put something
Yeah.
together with a shared,
Yeah.
because that's,
That's a lot
Oh,
of money to spend on our own.
Oh, I
Make it
agree,
make sense.
yeah.
it would make a lot of sense, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'll
I
do
guess
it.
we'll leave that in your guys' hands. Get back to us.
And you would be looking at multiple options on that, right? I mean, you'd be getting quotes from multiple
Yeah.
sources, not just.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't just go with that 180, yeah,
No,
which
exactly.
I don't think the next one's gonna be that far off either. But yeah, the Howard Fairfield, they do sell them as well.
Now, does Kubota have something like that?
It would be the
Locally?
same
Same.
as Champlain Valley.
Okay.
And what that price was a Sourcewell plan.
Be nice to deal with local people if we can.
Yeah, if they get back to us, but.
If they get, yeah.
Yeah,
That-
well,
you're right.
yeah, if,
I mean, that's why I went with
That-
Champlain
they're
Valley,
local.
because
Yeah.
yeah,
he was good to deal with that last mower we bought. And,
good.
but yeah, there's, I think, probably two other options, dealers there, I can see
Some different ones, yeah.
what I can find out.
Good.
And then I'll get a price as well as that one on the loader. And like I said, it ties up the loader while you're mowing, but it comes off and
Yeah,
on fairly
fairly
easy.
easy.
And you're not having a tractor, $100,000 tractor sitting.
Exactly,
Yeah.
most of the year, yeah, most of the year sitting doing
Together
nothing.
all the options.
Yep, okay, good. Dust control and mitigation, we
Yeah, we kinda
talked about
covered that.
All right, so we don't really need to
Yeah.
prolong on that. Town report printing, online availability.
So did we skip over the renting equipment to West Rutland?
No, we just talked about that, didn't we?
No.
No,
That's a
that's
different-
different.
Oh, this is different, oh, okay.
Kinda led in, the
Kinda
first
all
part
right,
led
okay.
into the
So
second
So this
part.
is something else. Ah, okay, this
So
is,
because they're down equipment, they wanted to rent whatever we have.
oh, okay.
So that,
Which we don't have. All right, we're done.
Well,
well, I mean, we have,
They wanna just get one pass done. They use their trackless, the machine that does their sidewalks as well. They have a mower that goes on that.
that broke.
That's been down, parts are back ordered, they don't know when they'll get back. He's just looking for someone to come in, I mean, not necessarily us, but anybody.
Well, if we
That
rent it, can rent it with the operator? That's the
I
only
would
concern.
prefer
Yeah.
that, yes.
I would be okay with it if we do it with our operator
Yeah, I would,
Running it.
I would
Yeah, I
prefer
just
that
wanted
as
you
well.
guys to be aware of.
And it's just going
going
and
on.
getting one pass
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
for them,
So
so
we
it's,
cover,
This-
under our insurance, our
Yeah.
insurance will cover us while we're over there.
I would
yeah,
assume so, yeah. It's
VLCT,
under
I
our
mean,
policy.
everybody's
Yeah. Sure.
same insurance.
That might be a good gesture, seeing as we want to.
Exactly. I-
See, that's why they're together on the
Yeah,
list.
let's,
See, as long as your stuff is done.
yeah.
We've been around once already,
Okay,
yes.
As long as you're
I
comfortable
think just a
letting it out.
consensus of the board, I don't think we need a motion, just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Can, Give him a call
we'll let you
tomorrow
guys make the deal.
and New tires
Like
on
give
it,
Brenda a
too.
little,
Give me something to do.
something a little bit, yeah.
Something to do.
Okay, now town report printing online availability. We'll
Yeah.
get there eventually.
So, just wanted to have a discussion, and then if you see what you how you felt about it. So, to print the town report,
About
in
3,000.
it's like $3,000 something. It's all we're getting up near the 3.5 actually.
Yeah, Probably
Right,
close
it's
to
like
4 this year.
3,600, I think. So for 1,000 of them. And a lot of towns are going to the electronic version, where you put it on your website. If someone wants to have a copy, they can print it.
download it.
Or, there's also another option for folks that are not computer literate and they don't want to get into that. We can still offer to print them a copy here for them, if they want to do that. But I'm just looking for areas that we might be spending a little too much money when we don't have to. Because they end up in the trash.
I know they do.
It's just
A
such
lot
a
of them
waste
do.
of paper.
A lot of them do. Can we order just a certain few?
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea to look at.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
it is. I mean, we can still, obviously, we still have to have some copies for, for the vault, and also for folks that we do business with that require it, because at the end of the year, a lot of different entities
So
want
if
a
we
copy
had,
of
say,
that.
50
State.
copies would be.
So we
fine.
could do a smaller.
Yeah,
small- yeah.
oh, yeah.
I'd-
You don't have to buy 1,000 of them.
No, that would
Mr.
be-
Chair, Butch would like to say something.
Yeah.
So wait, Kelly and Ellen may be able to help me on this. I think the town voted a few years back to continue to print our town report.
But I think it was contingent on reviewing annually.
Okay.
I
So,
think you're correct. But, here again, if we do print 50 of them, we're still printing them, and they could request one, doesn't mean that you gotta send one to everybody.
Just a
Isn't
thought
there-
on that printing, are you gonna get nailed a setup fee?
I don't know.
It's gonna
That's
be
what we would have to find out.
Well, there's all,
Brandon
yeah,
just
I
went
mean, I
back
gotta
to
look at
printing
that.
theirs.
Did they went back to
And there's,
printing them?
then also
They
increasing
took
unit
your
price.
town report.
I get it, but it's just something I
followed their
thought
town
needed to be looked
report,
at.
Kind of after your report. And they just went back to doing that up in Brandon because people were requesting more than they weren't requesting the town report. In Vermont, the town report coming to your mailbox is tradition.
Oh, yeah, it is, there's no
Part of
question.
the way.
It's been one of the topics.
I don't know how many, I have probably.
And if they don't get
55.
that, we have to do something to get budgets out to them.
Yeah.
So
So many
it's a
days before an
catch-22.
election.
It's a catch-22.
What was
If
a
you
good
decide
topic for
Not to
discussion?
print them, I would have somebody opt.
Find out how everyone feels about it.
It's a sort of a tradition,
Out of
it's
it.
pretty hard to break.
It's hard to break
Yeah.
tradition,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
It's got
No
some
question.
merit to keep it going if it's possible.
I would think,
What's the cheapest way to do it? That's the question.
How many
You
do
have a
we mail
newsletter
out?
going
Any
out,
idea,
put a
Helen?
survey in.
We mail one to each household
right,
from the
from the
checklist.
checklist.
Wasn't there like 700 and something though?
I don't know the total count.
I
Linda has been ordering.
think Ann came up with 760.
So what do we put that on the town
And we
meeting
have to send
as a
somebody to
subject
the
to
state.
be
Yeah.
discussed?
We could, yeah.
And get
Yeah.
it, let's put it on doing it
As a warrant
another
article.
year,
That
and
could-
bring it up and see what
on the
people
warrant, see
think.
what people think.
If they want it and they wanna pay for it, then we're good. If not,
If not, yeah.
Okay.
Or
let's have a different discussion.
does the state require the town to provide this information?
Yes.
You do.
Several-
But we can do it in a,
Requirements.
How to do it.
But
We
you can
gotta
do it in
One
electronic
way or
format.
another.
Middlebury sends you 2 pieces of paper with all the real important stuff on 2
Yeah.
pieces of paper you get in the mail. You don't get a book
A
report.
book,
When I had my business in Middlebury, that's all we got for a town report. It was about 2 pieces of paper like that, folded in half with
Yep.
a stamp on it, and that was it. If you wanted anything further, you went to the town office and.
Yeah, and
they gave it
to
you.
be honest with you, I've worked in a few towns now. Nobody ever had it mailed like you all do here. Everybody, if you wanted to get that whole booklet with all the
You requested it?
other data, you'd have to come and get it, request it specially, or, we'd always have some on hand at the town, but it wasn't mailed.
I'm just wondering if you could do something like Middlebury does, plus have, let's say, 50 or 100 copies.
I don't have a.
I don't know.
I don't have a dog in this fight.
I don't-
I have an
I
opinion,
think
but I don't have a
probably
dog.
should go on where we should let it come up at
Let-
town
You should,
meeting.
you should.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because that is prime winter reading for a lot of people, so
Oh,
we
yeah.
want a short amount of.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many mistakes people find in the town.
Oh, yeah. It's,
we could find the same mistake on a PDF.
Yeah.
Cost a lot less.
well, no, I agree. I think that's what we'll let the
I think
voters
with-
decide.
Let's bring it
Yeah.
up for discussion.
Yeah.
But, yep,
So have it created as a warrant article then,
Yep,
on your town
I
meeting?
think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
good, that's
definitely.
good.
Talk about,
That-
we'll do it another year and see
Yep,
what they
and then
say.
see what they want to do.
All right.
Gives them the, with that being said, we don't have liquor board tonight, we don't have Kansas board, so I guess that's everything we're gonna do in open session. Thank everybody for coming with your input.